What's up, road trippers? Today I'd like to help you have a better road trip by giving you some of my road trip tips. So I just got back from a short little road trip. I just drove from college back home. It was 15 hours. But anyways, it got me thinking that I should make a little video on road trips. Coming in hot, number one is go get your car checked out before you go on a road trip. You know, maybe about a week before, go to the dealership or wherever you go to get your car looked at. Make sure, you know, the oil's good, the brakes are good, just, I don't know, the basic stuff. If it's time for new tires, you know, get that done. I don't know too much about cars, but I know it's important to get it checked before you go on a long road trip. I'd recommend going in at least 1 week before you plan on leaving so that they'll have enough time to get things done that need to be done. My next tip is don't wait until your car is on empty to fill up the tank. When you're on a road trip, you might be going through the middle of nowhere a lot of times, and there might just not be many gas stations around. So I recommend that you go to the first gas station you see once your tank is to about 1/4 to 1/8 left. My last car related tip is make sure you're bringing the right car. So I know you don't really have many options, you don't have like a bunch of cars laying around, but if you're going with friends, pick the car that's most suitable for your adventure. For me, if I'm driving across the country, you know, get somewhere, maybe just have one friend, you know, you're not going to national parks or anything, I like to bring a smaller car like a sedan. Personally, I drive like a Honda Accord, so it works perfectly for that. You know, it gets good gas mileage, so that saves you some money, but if you're going to national parks or you're going anywhere where you're going to be off-roading, I would highly recommend getting a 4-wheel drive car, or, I mean, you don't have to have one, but if your friends have one, take it. So I went on a trip 2 summers ago. We went to a bunch of national parks. We spent 3 weeks. It was a great time, but we were off-roading a lot. There's also 3 of us, so we wanted a little bit bigger of a car, so we brought my friend's car. He drives a Jeep, so that worked out perfectly. I know the car you drive, you don't have too much control over, but if you can pick your friend's car over your car, or your car over your friend's car, I'd do that. Probably the most important trip is bring great friends. So most of the time you don't road trip on your own, you know, it's good having friends around you. I just have to say, don't bring anyone who's gonna annoy you, who you don't necessarily get along with. You're gonna be spending a bunch of time with these people, so you're gonna be getting extra close to them, even if you're already close friends. Like, you get really tight, you know, if you're camping, you're gonna be hanging around a fire, sleeping together, all that type of stuff. So make sure you get along with them, you know, you vibe well together. Most importantly, make sure y'all have the same travel style. For me personally, I'm more of an adventurous, go-getter type of traveler. I like to kind of push the pace of when I go from one place to the next. I like to see everything I can. I don't like to sit back much. And I'm not one of those people who just goes to a place to like take pictures. So if you're friends with people who just want to take pictures, you know, at pretty places, that's great, but I hope you're that too. It just really doesn't work out and can lead to a lot of conflict if you're wanting to go hiking every day, you're wanting to go out, and they're wanting to, you know, stay in, sleep in. It's more of like a laid-back travel style. I always say there are 2 big categories of travelers, and there's the adventurers and there are the vacationers. So bring friends who are adventurers if you're an adventurer, bring friends who are vacationers if you're a vacationer. Vacationer just mean more laid back, relax, you know, go with the flow. Adventure mean more like go, 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 let's see as much as we can, let's hike, let's do this, you get the point. My next tip is don't plan too much, but also don't plan too little. So you need to find a balance. You need to, you know, kind of know where you're gonna go, you know, maybe reserve some places ahead of time, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend picking exactly like what trail you're gonna hike on. Or if you're going city to city, you don't plan exactly where you're gonna see, like where you're gonna go in each city every day. Go with the flow a little bit, let it take you from one place to the next. A lot of times when you get to a city, you know, you hear about something new, people recommend stuff that you didn't see in your research or you didn't hear about, and it sounds awesome and you wanna do it, but if you already have everything planned, it's hard, you know, you have to sacrifice something. So what I say you should do is, you know, get a list maybe of like some 10 cool things that you love to do, and then when you go there, ask some locals, people who've been there, what they'd recommend you do, and then once you're there, pick the activities that you do. So overall, when I say don't plan too much, it means don't plan every daily activity, but when I say don't plan too little, you know, make sure you know where you're gonna go, when you're gonna go there, because places get booked. And that brings me to my next tip, and that is, if you are camping in the United States at national parks, make sure you book all your campsites 6 months in advance. I know a lot of times, you know, when you're going to a city, you can book an Airbnb, hotel, hostel, you know, pretty much like the next day, the day before, unless there's like a big event going on, there's always one available. However, when you're camping, you really have to plan those in advance, because, you know, if a campsite fills up, you know, it's not like there's like other camping destinations. You know, if you go to the Grand Canyon and the Grand Canyon campsites are full, you can't camp at like the next Grand Canyon over and then just like transport there. It doesn't work like that. Also, these campsites fill up super quickly, especially the more popular ones. Now, I know all road trips aren't camping, but a lot of them are, so I'm gonna give some like camping specific road tips right here. So after booking all your campsites 6 months in advance, my second camping tip, or camping road trip tip, is to get this American the Beautiful. It's an annual national park pass. 100% this, you have to get this. Like this, if you're going to national parks, this is a no-brainer, must get. It's $80, it might have gone up. 2 years ago it cost $80, and it gets you free access into any national park in the United States. So, you know, usually it's pay, I don't know, $5, $10, you know, a certain amount a day just to get into a lot of these national parks. This, $80, gets you into every national park in America for a whole year. Keep that in mind too. This is kind of what it looks like. This is from 2 years ago, so probably looks a little bit different now, but yeah. And then my third tip for road trip camping is get all your food, all your snacks, all your drinks, whatever you want, you know, alcohol, firewood, all that stuff before you get to the campsite. You know, once you get into a national park, if there is a little shop in there, a place you can get food, it's gonna be more expensive. Like that's just like a fact. Like everything's more expensive in a campsite than if you just go to a grocery store right outside. So, you know, take that 20-30 minutes, stop, get all your sandwich fixins, your bars, I don't know, whatever you want, some beer for a campfire, your firewood, all that stuff. Get it before you enter the campground. It'll make things so much better, so much easier for you. It'll save you a lot of money. All right, now back to just general road tip advice. And my next tip is don't eat fancy. And what I mean by this is eat fast food pretty much. So, you know, when you're traveling, if you sit down for every meal, I mean, if you're going a whole day, you know, you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, out, you're gonna be spending 30-40 minutes sitting down, getting food. That's gonna add maybe like 2-3 hours to your trip. So what I recommend is get your food at a fast food place, eat in the car. No, it's not the healthiest, but you know, you're hiking and your stuff, you know, you're on vacation, you know, you can splurge a little bit. I pretty much just solely eat fast food whenever I'm on a road trip, and saves me a lot of time. So that's my recommendation. All right, so my next tip, and this is definitely gonna be the most controversial tip. I mean, I know a lot of people won't agree with me on this, but pretty much it's travel via night. So let me explain about this. So via night's just a joke, that's what me and my friends say, but like travel at nighttime pretty much. And why I say this is because if you spend a whole day traveling, you're gonna waste an entire day that you could be traveling. So me and my two best friends from high school, we went on a road trip 2 summers ago, and it was 3 weeks. We went from national park to national park, went to like 5-6 different national parks, and anyways, we went between every single one, and they were all about, I would say, 8 to 14 hours apart. So when we were doing that, we would pretty much leave our campground in the morning, put all of our stuff in our car, park the car, spend a whole day adventuring, I don't know, doing a new trail, hiking, something like that. Then we would go to like a local place, use some public showers, shower up, then we'd get in the car, and then it would be like 6-7 p.m. and we'd start our drive. So let's say we're going like 12 hours, we leave at 6 p.m. and then we'll show up at the next place at 12 a.m. and then you can, you know, sleep maybe a couple hours in the morning, and then you can just start your whole next day at the next campsite. You don't lose any daytime. Like it's like a time saver, it feels like. So yeah, we were traveling for 3 weeks. We went to 6 national parks, and we did this for each one. So that saves us about 6 days. That's 6 days out of 3 weeks that we would have just spent traveling. But because we did it at night, we got an extra 6 days of travel, getting to see things and stuff. If you're wondering how we did it, like if it was a 12-hour drive, like one person would drive from like 6 p.m. to like midnight, while the other two sleep, they rest up, and then they start driving at midnight, and the other person sleeps the rest of the time. And why we would have 2 people driving that late, like the midnight to 6 a.m. is because that's the most tiring. You know, you don't want them falling asleep, so you know, it's like accountability partners keep each other up when they're driving. So again, not the safest, don't recommend it safety wise, but highly recommend it if you want to pack as much as you can into your into the time you have traveling. Also, if you don't like this tip, I have nothing against you. You know, comment your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your opinion, but yeah, definitely not for everyone, just something I personally like to do. Oh, and one last thing about traveling via night at night is you don't hit traffic. You know, there's no traffic hour from like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, so you're gonna be good on that. All right, next tip is bring some car entertainment. You know, you're gonna be in the car for a long time. Highly recommend not just music, but audiobooks too. You know, if your friends, you know, want to learn something or just, I don't know, read something cool or listen to something cool, bring some audiobooks, music, all great. One last thing is you're gonna be, again, traveling in the middle of nowhere a lot of times. You're not always gonna have internet, and the worst thing is when you're listening to music and music cuts out, you know, because you don't have internet. So if you're like stream on something like Spotify, Apple Music, download some of your songs, save them, so that whenever you go through a spot where you don't have internet, you still have access to your music or your audiobook. And on that note, you're not just going to be downloading, saving, you know, some audiobooks, some music, stuff like that. You're also going to be taking a lot of pictures while you travel on these road trips, you know, different things you see and all that, and that takes a lot of memory up on your phone. So what I recommend is, if you don't already have it, get something like Google Photos, and every time you get to a spot with Wi-Fi, you know, upload those photos you took, delete the ones, upload them to Google Photos, delete them off your phone so you can take more. You won't run full of storage on your phone. I was at the Grand Canyon walking down, I was about halfway down, taking some photos, and got that horrid message, you know, iPhone storage full, you know, you've all seen it. But yeah, so don't let that happen to you. Upload them all to Google Photos when you got Wi-Fi, and you'll be thankful, won't regret it. My next tip, and a very important one, is just enjoy your travels. You know, if you want to get food, if you want to relax, you know, if that's what you want to do it. You know, don't let like my tips or any person's tips or suggestion like ruin your travel. You know, make sure you do what you want to do, you have fun, you're with people you like. You know, that's really important to enjoy your travel. Don't let anyone's expectations dictate what you do when you travel. If you're feeling something, you're feeling like changing something up, go for it. That's probably the most important tip that you can take away from this video is, you know, when you're road tripping, do what you want, do what makes you happy, and you'll have a great time. If you'd like to see a little vlog I did on I guess you can call it a road trip, click over here. It's me driving up to college, when was that, last semester? So yeah, click that right there. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big old like and subscribe below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.